Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. The day after, you know that I like to do videos also about the game the day after. Why? Because after the game we are always full of emotion and our mind is not always clear to do a clear debrief and to tell you what the real opinions was. And I will tell you something. Yes, the game was a disaster for Juve, but this morning I woke up with a big smile. I was smiling and I was happy. Maybe certain of you would be shocked after hearing this because, yes, it doesn't change the performance of Juventus, not even after sleeping, but this is what I feel. And why do I feel that? Because the first thing when you see the rankings, you see that Juventus is still on top of Serie A with 8 points on the second. So that's 1 point more as when we started and with one game less to play. We have 6 games to finish the Serie A. Instead of 7, we have Sassuolo, Lazio, Udinese, Sampdoria, Cagliari, and we finish with Roma. 6 games to play where we need 11 points to be sure to have the mathematic that we won the Scudetto. 11 points if the other ones, Lazio and maybe Inter, that have to play because now they are at minus 11. Maybe if they win, they will be at minus 8, but that's not sure. So if they win all their games, we need 11 points, maybe a bit less if they don't win every game. And we know that the state of Lazio and Inter is not perfect at the moment. So what will we do in that video is not only the review of the game, but it's also the players rating. That's important the day after. So Juventus Atalanta 2-2. I told you I'm happy for the 360-degree analyze, but for sure I am not for what I saw yesterday. Yesterday the game was difficult. We had some choices of Sarri that instead of choosing Pjanic, he has chosen for Bentancur Regista with Matuidi on the left, and on the right we had Rabiot with Danilo again on the left instead of Alexandro. Something that on the channel we anticipated and we recommended to play like that. Why? To counter the intensity of Atalanta. And probably a few of you will say yes, but it didn't work after the performance of Juventus yesterday, after what we saw. I'm sorry, guys. For me, it worked. Oh, yes, it worked. Why? Because after 5 minutes where Juventus started quite well, Juventus disappeared totally. And not because we were playing bad, but because Atalanta was doing an amazing job. 40 minutes of Calcio Champagne. Atalanta was everywhere. Even Gosens, that had a slight injury in the pre-training of the game, was replaced by Castagna, and Castagna, who was not supposed to play, was doing a really great game. So Atalanta was everywhere, attacking from the left, from the right, from the center. They were everywhere, and they deserved to win 1-0 at the halftime. The problem of Juventus is that Juventus was not doing Juventus while Atalanta was doing Atalanta. The other problem is that Juventus, you really clearly saw that they were fearing Atalanta. They didn't care about scoring at that moment. I believe the only thing there was sorry. Yes, the only thing there was that they had to pay attention to not breaking the line, to respect the line. And you see, De Ligt, for example, he was not going really aggressively to the first player like he usually do. No, he was staying in the back, respecting his line, and that's what they did for the first half, praying that the game was not a 4-0 or a 0-4 after the 45 first minute. That's what happened. In the second half, we saw a better Juventus, not a wow Juventus, sure not, let's be honest, but the better Juventus that started to play. Also, with Douglas Costa and Alexandro that entered the game in the second half, I believe it was around the 56th minute, they changed the offensive support, and that was a really game changer, an important one. Ronaldo was able to score a penalty after a handball of Atalanta. So we scored 1-1, and then again we started to disappear. The difference with the first half is in the second half, the possession was a bit more equilibrated, while in the first half, I remember at the 20th when Atalanta scored, Atalanta had a possession of 72%, something that we cannot accept this. After 20 minutes at the Juventus Stadium, 72% for Atalanta, something really crazy. And that didn't happen in the second half. However, Juventus was trying to play. They couldn't make a really dangerous attack. We didn't saw any yesterday, and that's really a pity. And then we saw the goal at the 80th of Atalanta, 2-1. A lot of us were thinking it's over. We lost. They will be at -6. Serie A is open again. No, this was without counting on another penalty. Ronaldo scored again after Higuain was actually wanted to passing to Douglas Costa that was just behind him, and Muriel was touching the ball with his hand. Unfortunate. A lot of people were saying Penaldo, Penaldo, Penaldo because yes, he scored 28 goals in Serie A, and I believe 9 or 10 were penalties. It's not his fault. If there is penalty, there is penalty. And guys, you know how difficult it is to score penalties, especially at the 90th minute after that performance. The ball is really heavy at that moment. You have to be really strong mentally to score that penalty, especially if the second penalty in the same game versus the same goalkeeper. So well done for Cristiano Ronaldo for me. The penalties for me, and I told it yesterday, they are not penalties. If we speak about a real football, there are not penalties. But if we see all the penalties that were given in Serie A against Juve, but also against other teams, yes, this year it's penalty. And Gasperini also admitted it after the game. This season, 100% penalty. What about the reviews of the players, guys? So, Szczesny for me, and I will go really quickly through it. 5.5. Why 5.5? I don't remember. And with all the respect for Szczesny, I don't remember when is the last time that the guy did a save. After the lockdown, I remember some save from Buffon. I don't remember any of Chesney. And I agree, it's not his fault on the goals because there were really, strong goals, really difficult to save, but I don't remember. 5.5. 5.5 also for Danilo. Yesterday I gave him a 6. That was a bit too generous. He was not wow. He was not good, but he was less worse than versus Milan, where it was a drama. So Danilo 5.5. He didn't do a lot of crazy mistakes yesterday, but he was absent in offensive play, but as all the team, not only Danilo. Then we have Bonucci, a 5 for me, the worst of the defense. You really see that he's mentally affected by what happened after Milan. Not only he played a dramatic game, but also social media was really killing him. And I believe, and yes, I repeat it, we are all humans and we see what's happening around us. So such criticism in 3 days, the amount of critic that he had, I believe, mentally it didn't help him. And you saw that yesterday he was quite scared also because Zapata is a player that he's fearing, and that's not a mystery that yesterday De Ligt was taking care of Zapata and not Bonucci. De Ligt for me a 7. Why? Because yes, one of the first goal is maybe also partially his fault, but the guy was playing with a broken shoulder again. He was giving everything for the 90 minutes until I was really scared because I saw Rugani standing up from the bench being ready to replace. I was thinking him. At the end it was for Bonucci, who said that he had an injury on his foot, but at the end he didn't play Rugani. But again, De Ligt was really smart. I said it yesterday, really smart to be a bit more patient instead of being really aggressive as he would be. And a guy from 20 years old that has a lot of praises for that aggressivity of being the first man on the attackers, on the strikers, being calm and patient is also a sign of maturity. 7 for him. Cuadrado 5.5. Why? Because the guy was really dead. Instead of all the other games where you really see his offensive support, it was absent. The only 0.5. Why I give it more? It's because from the moment we needed to attack a bit and Douglas Costa entered the field, you clearly saw that Cuadrado was also starting to help a bit in the front also. Not a great game for Cuadrado, not his best game, but he helped it a lot. Then we go to the midfield with Rabiot, a 6. Rabiot was difficult in the first half where he had no contrast, no pressing at all. It was quite difficult for him, a difficult game playing on the right. But for me, it was the best one of the midfield, especially also in the second half, where you see that he's trying to do his best for the team. We saw a few combination from him. You saw that he is in shape. It was a difficult game for all the team, but for me, Rabiot deserved a 6, 5.5 for Matuidi. Why? Because I saw also Gazetta was giving him a 4.5, and that's really disgusting for me. Why? We spoke about Danilo, that he had also a greater score than the last one. I gave him a 5.5. Why? Because Matuidi was giving all his support. If Danilo didn't deserve a 4 like versus Milan, where it was really a drama, it's also thanks to Matuidi, who was giving him his support on the left back and also giving a support on the midfield. Yesterday, clearly the strategy of Juventus was to keep the lines as much as possible, and that's what they did. Now, for sure, if you expect offensive football or support from Matuidi, then maybe you didn't see the Juventus of the last 5 years. Bentancur, 5.5. He had some difficulties as a regista yesterday. You know that I love him as a regista, but yesterday, we have to be honest, it was quite difficult for him. That being said, also a negative point that was that the first goal probably, or the second one, was probably also partially his fault. But Bentancur remembered the only offensive big pass and vision from the first game, where Dybala did the control with the right foot and a shoot with the left one. It came from a great vision from Bentancur with an amazing millimeter passes. Not only that, because he tried also to press a few times. 5.5, not more. Then we go to the attack with 5 for Bernardeschi. I said it again. Sarri is giving him a lot of trust. Sarri is using him also on his position. So you have two excuses that go away. The first one is that he doesn't have a lot of play time. Go away. The second time is that he's not playing. The second excuse is that he's not playing in his original position, and he's doing both. No excuses anymore. Bad missing actions, stopping the building. He was nowhere. He also had a yellow card, not deserved, really early in the game, that probably affected him, but a 5 for Bentancur. Ronaldo, 6.5. Why? Because he tried. He tried. You saw some aggressivity from him. You saw some grinta. And guys, scoring 2 penalties, it's not an easy task, especially not, as we said in the beginnings, versus an Atalanta that deserved to play at the 90th minute. It's not the first time. I remember I saw live his penalty versus Genoa, the winning penalty at the 96th minute. So he's used to it. Deserved. Well done. For me, Dybala is, with De Ligt, the man of the game. Really strange that Sarri changed and subbed him, probably because he saw that he was really man-marked and it was difficult. But even like that, he was the best of the game yesterday. The only one where you was clearly seeing he's able to change the game or to create something. He changed him. Strange choice for me. Sarri changed him, a really strange choice for me. It is what it is, especially because he didn't play the game versus Milan. So I still don't understand it, especially when we will see the performance of Higuain or the support of Higuain when he entered the game. So bad choice from Sarri there. Well done from Dybala, even if he didn't score. Alexandro, he came in the second half, and a 6 for him. You really clearly saw that it was a difference with Danilo. For sure, he didn't have the 90 minutes. He didn't have also the time to play all the game. But remember what we said, it should have been difficult also with Papu Gomez in the field. Alexandro, where we saw that Papu Gomez was attacking more from the center of the field and not his right side. You saw that Alexandro had a lot more easy task, and especially also when Papu Gomez went out, it was a bit more easier for Alexandro Douglas Costa. Game changer, a lot of more velocity, being quick, and intensity of the game. Sometimes a bit too much strange dribbles, but at least he's trying to create something and create. When you do a successful dribble, you win a man, and that's what he was trying, and that's something that you expect at least once a game from Bernardeschi, where you didn't had it. Higuain El Pipita 5. I give him a 5. That's 0.5 more than what I should have given, but that's thanks to the fact that thanks to him, luckily we received a second penalty. But yeah, absent, difficult game for him again. And then we go to, for me, a disaster after the lockdown. The post-COVID disaster of Juventus is Ramsey. I don't know where he is. I don't know what's happening with Ramsey. He did a lot of progression just before the lockdown, and he never came back. Season is about to finish. Aaron, I hope you wake up, because like this, it's really difficult for us. So Sarri a 6, because it was easy to choose again the same game with Alexandro starting. Maybe Pjanic, he didn't. For me, a 6, a big 6, because we were lucky. Yeah. Let's see what we will give to Sarri in the next games. It was not an easy one, guys, because after Milan, a lot of teams, especially versus Atalanta, would have lost a lot, especially in the first time. It could have been 4-0 easily, and that didn't happen. And that is also thanks to Sarri in the second half, because he could have said, I change everything, because it was clear how bad we played. He could have changed everything. He didn't. He stick to his plan, and at the end, luckily, yes, we did a 2-2 versus Atalanta. So guys, that is it for the video. Again, I'm really happy for the +8. I'm happy that we have to do 11 points in 6 games. I believe in the Scudetto. Am I worried about the team right now? Yes. I have to be honest. Yes, I am. But I'm confident that if we are able to win quickly the Scudetto, a lot of pressure will go away. We will be able to play players like Demiral, like Chiellini, like Ramsey, like Pepita Higuain. A lot of players are able to play more minutes to have that energy to be ready for the game versus Lyon. Ragazzi, ciao. Thank you for following the channel. If you didn't yet and you like the player ratings, please subscribe. I see you next time. Forza Juve.